Modern women, the anachronism. So, not much of an intro here, but I'm going to go through the anachronism that I find very common amongst 99.9% of women today. Um, very common, actually, too common. And yeah, the Will and Jada situation, uh, that somewhat plays a part in this. So, let's get to it.
Put some respect on my name. You understand me? When y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
So, what is the anachronism? Well, the anachronism is essentially how modern women want to be housewives. If you know anything about what the definition of anachronism, let's get into what that is exactly. Anachronism, a thing belonging or appropriate to a period other than that in which it exists, especially a thing that is conspicuously old fashioned, an act of attributing a custom, event, or object to a period to which it does not belong. So, what does this mean? Essentially, women today, and this one is for the ladies, women today are not built. Well, they have the. How can I say it? They're not raised to be the type or caliber of women great, more than 50 years ago, right? All of them want the benefits of being the housewife with modern amenities, but the ironic thing is none of them qualify, despite the fact that being a housewife today, technically, the labor intensive part of it at least, should be easier than ever. What do I mean by this? Well, if anyone is familiar on how you iron clothes, you remember back in the day, yeah, they didn't have the plug-in irons where it's nice and neat. You didn't have the ironing boards that were made today to be the most as efficient as possible. No, you had a big ass slab of iron like this one right here. You had to put it on a stove. You had to use an oven mitt or something when you grabbed it because it was hot as fuck. You risked burning yourself. You had to spritz on water yourself or the starch or whatever the hell. Like you had to know how to use starch. How many of y'all out there even know how to use starch or do any of this shit? You see what I'm saying? Like none of us, you don't. Today we have modern irons where you're able to plug it in. It does all the work for you, pretty much. You just press a button and change the setting to the heat that you need for whatever the fabric is. You don't technically run the risk of burning your clothes because it's fairly easy. On top of that, there's the cleaning part, cleaning variety of rooms. One of the things being dishes. You wash dishes by hand. It's optional today. You got dishwashers for that. You literally rinse the dishes with whatever modern water pressures and systems we have currently that makes it significantly easier than back in the day. The detergents are better today than they were back then to clean the dishes more effectively, to sanitize and clean around the house as well. They got the Swifters where you clean the floors simply. You got the robots also if you want to, which are actually very useful. I ain't gonna lie, those robots are pretty damn good. You got the robots that can run across their floors and sweep up the shit for you if you want to, if you desire to. Also, you didn't have to do laundry by hand. Like I don't know if some of y'all are aware of like how tedious some of these tasks used to be. Doing the laundry, you had to wash the shit by hand. It was literally an all day task. Ask any woman who's actually done it. To properly wash your linens, your clothes, then you have to hang them up. Like it took some time to do that. It literally took to be a housewife back in the day. It was an all day affair. And it was those women that set the stage of respect for the women today, which is why Mother's Day is rewarded in the way it is today. I talked about isopraxism not too long ago, where people just grow accustomed to the norm, and it was normal that people did praise moms. That was a norm because they understood the sacrifice that the mom had to take to serve the household. The sacrifice it took for her to go beyond her natural instincts to be selfish and everything, to actually sacrifice for the family and to benefit the family as a whole, and she took pride in that. I mean, today, if you want to talk about childcare and stuff, even that's made somewhat simpler. You have childcare, you have a abundance of resources. An abundance of resources. You have the World Wide Web. You can get on there and essentially find whatever the hell you want to online. Anything you need to look up. Hey, what is this for kids? Let me look that up. What is this? How do I clean this? Let me look that up. How do I do, like, this is stuff where you didn't technically have to learn it through error or through your parents. Like, if your parents didn't teach you this, you can literally get online and learn it from somebody. Look on YouTube or something, right? Also, who the hell knows how to sew anymore? Like, nobody, like, I know a handful of people that actually know how to sew. My mom being one of them. My wife, she kind of knows, but not really. But you see, like who knows how to do this? Most of today, you just take that to somebody else. Today, you just take that to somebody else. You wouldn't even have to do that yourself. You'd pay for it. And I talked about moms getting that respect that, to be honest, today it's not well deserved. If I'm just being honest, it was the moms of back in the day that developed the systems or in the respect that we have for moms today because of all the sacrifice they made. But now women have moved away from that, and they've become modernized. They become more of what they really are. They've shown the real true selfish nature of women, which throughout all history, it's not new. There's a plethora of resources, religions, everything that literally warn against the leadership of women for a reason. It's not like this hasn't been done before. I've heard it was actually linked to the to the collapse of, I think it was Rome or Greece. They started seeing more women in parliament and stuff, and more women started having more say in the government and the functionings of society. And not too long after that, here comes the collapse. And going back to the mom thing, most moms today, they don't really sacrifice for the kids. Actually, I planned on making a broadcast about this, a video about how women actually treat their damn kids like pets. It's more of a pet thing than it is a child or a legacy. It's like, oh, look at my pet. Shout out to the dog moms out there. They treat their kids no different. They just substitute the kid for a dog and the dog for the kid when time comes. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because you think in a time where all these amenities have been developed to make being a stay-at-home mom way, well, I'll go ahead and say it, way easier than what it used to be. You can complete these tasks. You can throw the clothes in the washing machine. You can throw the dishes in the dishwasher. That might take you a few minutes versus the hour or so each of those tasks might take you normally, right? You can throw them in the thing while it's washing. You can complete some sweeping and dusting here. You complete the task within a fraction of the time it would normally take. The kids are off at school or something, right? And of course they have an abundance of after school programs today as well. So the kids can literally be away from the house until dinner time. And while you complete these tasks, which mind you, if you do it regularly each day, it'll be less and less work because you don't just let it build. I know some of y'all like to let the laundry build up and then you do the laundry one day and then, but if the thing is, if you literally have what, like 5, 6, 7 hours a day to yourself, which is what a lot of house moms have today. Shout out to the house moms that actually know how to do it. You can do your task within 3 to 4 hours, and guess what you do with that rest of the time? Because you don't have to do all the tedious work of washing shit by hand and all that stuff. Well, you get to do stuff like watch your favorite TV program or read a book, either for entertainment or for research purposes. You remember the web? You can look up how to do different things newer, become a more effective mom. You can watch TV programming, even though I'm not really for it because of all the propaganda they have on there. But yes, you can watch your favorite entertainment, your favorite TV program, and kind of have your relaxation time for at least an hour a day. I know my mom; she literally nannies for the wealthier people in Charlotte, and she'll go watch the kids for like 2 3 hours just to let the mom go shopping and do yoga and stuff like this. And it's like people don't realize when you do things the right way, when you're actually able to get that right man, you're actually able to promote your men, unlike what is being done in the black community. When you promote your man properly, they're actually able to earn better. They're able to perform better because now they know the reward is a decent wife, unlike today. I mean, it works itself out. And the anachronism is the housewife today. The housewife for the majority is outdated. One, because of the actions of women. Two, because of the underperformance of the men, despite the economic reasons for that, of course. Shout out to capitalism for making that happen, or it's accelerating it at least, where it's now the haves and the have-nots, right? But the cost of living has risen, and the cost or the income or salaries has not risen to a similar standard. So it is much harder. Things cost more than they did back in the day. But we have a lot more amenities per household than they did back in the day. That whole stigma of the Cardi B era of I don't cook, I don't clean. I mean, that's like one of the most basic parts of the housewife. To be honest, all the cooking utensils, because as you guys know, I do the cooking thing, and I actually did one last night where I was cooking the recipe, right? And I'm doing the order thing, the order meals. Even the cooking part can be significantly easier. You do one of those made to order like Blue Aprons. I'm doing Fresh Chef and Green Chef currently. Each meal takes about 30 to 40 minutes to cook. Usually use about 30 minutes each. Fairly easy to make. All the stuff is there. It's a decent price point. Delicious. The meals are they're great. And I'm keeping each of the things that they give me for my own recipe book. All the recipes that I like, which is almost all of them, to be honest, because they're good. So even the cooking part and everything is easier. You can communicate, it's easier. You got phones and cell phones. You can watch your stuff. You can listen to podcasts while you're cooking, while you're doing your task. This is why I don't get it. To me, if I was a modern woman, I would see the benefit in being a housewife and stop falling for this propaganda bullshit and do the damn job like you're supposed to. Be the woman like you're supposed to, instead of trying to compete with your husband or outdo your husband, which makes no sense whatsoever at all. What's the benefit? So you outcompete your husband, which usually adds it usually is combined with emasculating him because let's be real. I talk about the order and the chaos and how men tend to be able to work harder and longer. We're a lot more monotonous than women, right? So in order for you to boost one up, you have to literally tear the men down, which is what has been happening in the black community. The softening of men today, in order and the and the hardening of women today. So the modern housewife is an anachronism. It's outdated now. There's too many underperforming, feminized men believing these false narratives that you should do this, this, and that. Simpish behavior. Too many of those guys, and not too many, as Jason Black calls it, producers anymore. It's made the market a buyer's market for the producers, that is. The top men, the men in the top 10%, 20%, shoot, hell, even the top 30, 35%, if I'm just being honest. It's a major imbalance, and to be honest, it's ironic because you think that people would understand this, but they don't. The real anachronism of this. Hey, let's not utilize all these benefits that help us get these tasks done in a timely manner, so we actually have easier lives than the women and the mothers that came before us. Let's instead make it harder than ever. All that stuff they used to do, throw it out the window. None of that crap matters anymore at all. Because, because we need to outcompete our men. And that's it. Instead of trying to work with our men and build and make more and save more for our families. Because you do realize when you divorce, that's money that goes to the court system. That's money that's split now between, instead of it going into one household, now it's split between two or more households, depending on how old the children are and if they might get something. That's less inheritance for their children because now the cost of living is higher than ever. So now you're having to pay rent or a mortgage that's higher than ever for two people instead of one. It actually makes a lot more sense to come together today more than ever. Yet the effect is the opposite. Now you have more separation than ever, which is why the wealth gap of the top percent is literally widening. The middle class is being wiped out slowly, but surely, because of this. It's crazy. But that is the anachronism. The modern housewife, the anachronism. So leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And there are some for the guys too. Oh, yes, it is coming. This one was for the ladies. But fellas, it is coming. But till next time. お前はもう死んでいる。